So let's consider what might happen if we have two aqueous solutions. One of them is lead 2 nitrate. The other one is potassium iodide. If we were to mix these two solutions together, the question is, would we or would we not see a precipitate? So to start, using solubility rules, when we have aqueous lead 2 nitrate, because it is a nitrate salt, it will not be intact molecules in the solution. Rather, what we're going to have dissolved in the solution is lead 2 ions and nitrate ions. And there will be 2 nitrate ions for every 1 lead 2 ion. And then with the potassium iodide, we're not going to have intact potassium iodide. Rather, when it dissolves, it will dissociate, and there will be K+ ions and iodide or I- ions. So we will have these ions, and when we mix them and put them into solution, we're going to have lead 2s, nitrates, K+, and I-. We won't worry about how many of them. You notice I wrote 2 of them here and 1 down here. We won't worry about how many of them we have. We'll worry about that later when we write reactions and we actually have to balance the reactions. But at this point, we're just looking at predicting whether or not something might precipitate. And so now we've got 4 ions all down here in solution. The lead 2, the potassium, the iodide, and the nitrate, and they can potentially react to form compounds. The lead and the potassium are not going to combine because they're both positive, so they can't make a neutral compound. The lead could only combine with one of the negative anions, the nitrate or the iodide. We already know that it was combined with the nitrate here and it didn't precipitate because that's one of the soluble compounds we started with. But the lead could combine with the iodide. And when it does, because the lead's charge is +2 and the iodide is -1, the product would be lead 2 iodide or PbI2. Also, the potassium and the nitrate could combine to make KNO3. So now we have to look back at solubility rules to see if these would be soluble or not. All group 1 cations, like potassium, are soluble, so this is going to be soluble and remain in aqueous solution. However, solubility rules tell us that lead 2 iodide is insoluble, therefore we will form a precipitate, and the precipitate will be lead 2 iodide. If both of these products would have been soluble, there would be no precipitate.